Italian scholar and historian Umberto Eco is known throughout the world for his novels, The Name of the Rose and Foucault's Pendulum. His third novel, The Island of the Day Before, considers nature through the story of a young man stranded on a deserted ship near the international date line. I'm pleased to have Umberto Eco back on this program. Welcome. Great to have you back. Yeah, first of all, tell us exactly about the title, The Island of the Day Before, because right there at 180 degrees meridian, is it? What is it? What is it?
You know that there is in the world a date line, and really, if you fly over this date line, you were one moment before on Monday, and you and you are on Tuesday, or vice versa. You know that at that point, there are people that enjoy to make twice the New Year Eve, for instance, because they cross the line.
Right.
Okay. Now this line is fixed conventionally in that place of the world, on the meridian 180, but it could have been fixed in another point, because it's what. If we consider that the form of the Earth, there must be a point in which we have to start counting the time in other way. Well, the ancient knew it. They didn't fix a precise line, because it was done at the end of the 19th century, taking Greenwich as the first main. So in my story, somebody believes to have arrived in the exact point that God had decided was subdividing the time into different days. I was pleased when I had the idea of putting castaway upon a desert ship in face of an island to complicate space with time, putting the meridian in between.
Yeah. So, and you're a hero in a sense. He's cast off of his ship, and he ends up getting on another ship, which is a deserted, like a deserted island.
With an island in front, he wants to reach the island. He cannot swim, and moreover, it is not only far in space, but only in some way far in time.
Yeah. What's the significance of when the time, the Renaissance, that you decided to set this in rather than the Middle Ages?
The first idea was, as I said, to have a man alone on a desert ship. Yeah. Then when I thought of the story of the meridians, I discovered that in that century there was this search, frantic, hectic, dramatic, for the problem of longitudes, because they were unable to fix the longitude. They were able to know at which latitude they were, but not at which longitude, which made the navigation and the discovery of new lands a terrible experience, because they discovered a land that they couldn't go back and to rediscover it, because they didn't know exactly the position. So it was a sort of story, like a James Bond story. Every state feeling challenged in order to find this enormous secret, the secret of longitudes. That was a secret of power, the chance to have an enormous political power.
What's the significance? How much research did you do? I mean, you normally think, you have an idea generally, and it sort of plays around in your mind for a while, the notion of what you want to write.
Only 6 years.
It took you 6 years to write. But what did you start with?
With that idea. I start from an image. Yeah. Okay. Then I decided that it had to be set in the 17th century because of that story of longitudes. I had always liked the 17th century, and it was a joy, a pleasure to know something more. And I started to make research, to go in the place, to see certain places, to find. For instance, I discovered documents on this siege of Casale, which is a town for 25 miles from my native town of Alessandria. So I was interested by this story. I discovered how a siege at that time worked. I found the chronicles of the era, and I discovered that it worked in a very strange way. We believed that somebody was inside and somebody outside. It's untrue. They had a lot of contact, of exchange, of so I made some curious discoveries. The most fictitious elements one can find in this book are real.
And how did you do the research, though? What did you do?
But to do research means an infinity of things. So also means to look at the sky in a certain moment to say, well, look at the form of that cloud is not so bad. I should describe it. So you can make research even doing something else, visiting another city, exploring some, for instance, the ships, the form of ships. So I visited all the Navy museums of Amsterdam, Greenwich, Paris, and so on and so forth.
When you put it together and began writing it, there's lots of philosophical musings here, too.
Yeah.
Do you worry at all about whether the reader grasps it?
I have an ambition, and as every ambition, I am not sure to have achieved the right result. My ambition is that I provide the reader the indispensable information to understand the situation. Okay, if there is something that the reader doesn't grasp, it's not his duty to grasp it. I try to make the reader comfortable, giving detailed descriptions of certain things, explaining.
And then what about, though, the things that are more difficult and more complex? You know, you've given him, what, the elements to understand them or to...
But, you know, they say that the name of the rose made more or less 50 million copies.
It did.
If it would have been easier, they would have been 30 millions. But I am satisfied like that.
Yeah, but you didn't like the movie, though.
No, that's another problem, the movie. I mean, it means that there is a sufficient quantity of readers that like to be challenged by a book, to have a sort of well, not easy experience. The world is full of too easy experiences.
Too easy reads.
So, people like also a sort of serious interaction with the book, a sort of fight, a loyal
they want to be
fight.
challenged.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. They want to be respected.
Yeah. Are there differences in the American audience and the European audience? Do you get different questions, different interests, different curiosity about you and your work and this particular novel?
Not so much, and in any case, less than I presumed at the beginning.
You presume more than there is?
Yes, for instance, with the name of the rose, the same publisher told me, it's very difficult here in America because in Europe people live in medieval surroundings.
Exactly.
They know. No,
maybe more consciousness of their history.
Yes, but on the contrary, I received from American readers, and not from the East or West Coast, but for Central, from the Midwest or the mountains, letters of people that demonstrated to be profoundly involved in historical problems, that wanted to understand something more about Europe that maybe they had never visited. So, let's say, as an average, the response is more or less the same on both sides of the ocean.
The book is The Island of the Day Before, Umberto Eco. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
to have you back.
Thank you.
We thank you for joining us. See you next time.